when I was at high school, there were a lot of experiences that changed my life, I've had people come into my school who were authors, who were coming to inspire us, who were doing a whole lot of great things. And I think having that privilege of people coming to your space and seeing that they look like you at times, they are black and they're doing great things and they are out there. It spoke to me and said that you too could be one of those people because it's possible. So I started seeing myself not just being just a qualified individual with a certain degree or diploma program, which is very important. But for me, I think those people gave me a lot of options in life, that there's more out there and you could explore that too. So that's where it started, But I think even at high school, I was relatively an excellent student.
Relatively.
So what would happen is that at times I would be invited to higher grades. So, for example, if I'm in grade 11, they would say, come teach the grade 12 on a certain topic. And I think that for me was a moment of awakening, that there's something special about me. And I remember when I was in matric, there was also a teacher strike, as an example. What happened then was that I took on as a role as a leader. No one appointed me, but I was facilitating classes in the evening and classes during the day.
I see.
So that's when I started to lead without a position. I wasn't anything. If you ask Cayman, what are you? I wouldn't know what to do. I didn't even know I was a leader. I was none of those things. But I think the moment and opportunity created for things like that. And that's when I learned, because I had to tell people, no, come at this time, coordinate. Because I was the one having the privilege of intellectual prowess then, because they wanted me to teach them. And because I had to manage my time, I had to tell them when and how. So there was a time where I would, so the smart, or what you would deem top students, and this is a lack of language and expression. That's what people know. So the top students would be available during the day, and then the average students will then be available in the afternoon. So I'll have to cater for them, because generally I'm inclusive in my approach and democratic, because I love everyone depending where they are in life. So those who would wake up in the morning, I would be there for them, and those who would be available in the afternoon, I'll be there for them. And that's when I learned the value of hard work and service. It was in high school, and there was a crisis because the teachers were on a strike. So we couldn't just fold our arms and say our future.
When was this?
In 2010.
Oh, actually, were you doing grade 10?
12 then.
So you did grade 12 at the same time as
Yes,
myself.
yes.
Oh, interesting.
So that's when my leadership journey sort of like started without being appointed. It was a moment of a crisis. And then I intervened with the young people then. And the people who I was with then went on to date my friends, my colleagues in the work I do with different organizations at this point. Because a bond was created and we learned a lot about each other. The responsibility were on us. So that's sort of like how it sort of like started. And of course, family played a key role, and mentors. I think I've always had a lot of mentors around.
But describe for me the kind of context that you come from, because it is easy for someone who's hearing what you're saying to think that all of these things were happening because you were in a conducive context that cultivates leadership. You were in a school, Model C school. So tell me the kind of context in which you were doing those things.
No, thank you so much for that. So for me, I'm originally from a village called Tavampshera-Masemola. It's in Limpopo province.
I know.
I think that question it's humbling, because where I come from to where I am, it's like a miracle.
Sure. And I think it's an important thing for us to talk about that, because somebody from there might be looking at this, and it would create this whole idea that it is actually possible you know. And I think for me, that's one of the most important things I want to do with this platform. Let's expose that kind of context and show that it does not mean that when you are there, you are damned forever. There is a way out, and there are people that have done it.
Yes, yeah. So to that point, right, I grew up there, and I'm not from a very wealthy family, but I never went to bed hungry to date ever in my life. So I come from family of working class, you know. So I never lacked, but I couldn't afford private school. So I went to government schools throughout my life. But fortunately, my parents were very strict. I always had to come home before sunset. You know, even now when I'm old, I still want to do that. They are not saying I should do that, but I'm saying, do you hear what I'm saying? Because it's a culture that I grew under.
It's built into you.
Yes, because I always say, no, at certain time I have to, even when I stay alone, you know, I want that. So I grew up in that context of a village where, because I had to come home at certain times, I would be told wash dishes. I'm told routine and discipline. And okay, you are not watching TV, a program like this, you're watching news. And then now it's time for you to stop watching TV. You are working on your books. And then they will ask me, what are the books saying? So I couldn't even lie to them because, right, I could, because they knew how to read. So I was staying with my grandparents who knew how to read and write. So they could check, they could verify. So, and then if I'm not doing the right thing, they will then hold me accountable. So I had that context of family that is supportive and progressive in that view.